Hey, everybody. In addition to accessing our alternate Sunday episodes as well as the Thursday sessions as soon as they are released by subbing to our Black Kluge tier on Patreon, we're also pleased to announce that individual episodes will be available for purchase going forward at a cost of $3 per episode.
Just like, okay.
But I mean, what is the... Jay, what is the...
I hope I don't ever see my name up there.
That's the greatest. Oh, man. You know, I like pussy meat that reeks like old gym socks and piss. You know? It's like, I'll tell you what. I got an oxygen mask full of pussy stink that I take hits off of before shows. It keeps me sharp, you know what I'm saying? Roses are red, violets are blue. I want pussy that smells like dog shit on my shoe. Ow!
Do you know, Howard, to this day, I actually still don't know what this song is about. I wrote it in like 30.
I was in the bottom of the barrel with Joe. I didn't give a fuck. I don't care if you worked at Applebee's or you freaking worked at Walmart. But that's something.
What are we gonna...
And he said, he held it up and said, there's a lot of crazy people out there.
He's right. Here, put these on there. You got a mic.
Last time I met you, you were much younger.
I know. Do you believe what's happened to me?
Fantastic.
I
do. And there's all these sort of cavemen dancing around this big fire that they've just made, and they're burning wheels.
Well, then eventually the guy, I was like, where do you get this weed? And the guy was like, honestly, we just get it at the store also. And I was like, they just get it. I was like, this. And I think a lot of those people probably just got jobbing. And I looked to my wife, who knows A1 and A2. And I was like, oh no. I was like, that seems close. That seems very close.
Maybe the seating's backwards.
The next day, there's all these stories like, Seth Rogen didn't enjoy that award show. Like, why was he in such a bad mood at that award show? And I'm like, I was in a bad mood. I was just hot. These guys get what to do here. Like, literally from the, like, you're flying through space and the cosmos, and like, within 30 seconds, I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever experienced in my, less so that morning than on most days.
With you, I never know. It's like,
compared to what they do for a living, you know?
Welcome, ladies and gents, back to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm Phil Moore, your host, a.k.a. Jim Fix. And with me for this particular segment of the Howard Stern interview show is Miss C.A. Thomson. How are you, my dear? Welcome back.
I'm doing excellent. We got some sunshine here, so I'm loving that. And how are you feeling?
Not too bad, actually. I'm glad to be getting back into this series a little bit. There are only so many episodes. We've covered the Phil Hartman one, did that one with Matt. Sam and I covered Richard Lewis and the what was the other one? God, there's so many cringe ones that appear. There's a Kiss interview in which Howard has to address the fact that Gene wanted to beat the fuck out of him because of the things he said about their drummer who passed away of cancer, heart cancer, and then ultimately brain cancer that took him away, and he joked about it. I've been looking for the audio for the longest time. I know I must have it somewhere, but it just requires listening through, stuff from the day of, the day after, the week after, whatever, because, so at any rate, we're going to cover this one with about Moon Zappa, who's in lieu of her dad. She's basically going in to I can't recall offhand, but it's it goes into, it's in 1993. She talks about it in her book a little bit. Let me just see if I got this here. I'm 25. My father's cancer is now very public. Life is surreal. I'm booked onto the Howard Stern show to reassure the public that my father is, quote, fine. Which he was anything but. He was dying of prostate cancer. He was a lifelong smoker. He basically said his body metabolism was pepper, steak, and cigarettes. Yeah. And Patrick Swayze was another one. Died, lifelong smoker. died of prostate. I believe it was prostate cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me check.
I think
Just to make
that's
sure.
right. And there's a lot of news stories out really recently talking about the rise in prostate cancer in younger individuals. And when you think of, and this isn't, me going on a rant about vegetarianism or anything, but
Mhm.
what the studies are showing is that this push for a big red meat diet, those carnivore diets and stuff that people are doing, is likely increasing these prostate cancer occurrences that are happening, or at least it's one of the big factors in that.
Well, he it was with it was Patrick Swayze. I was incorrect. It was pancreatic cancer, but it lists here he was a smoker for 40 years. Once mentioning that he had smoked 60 cigarettes a day. He stated that his chain smoking had probably contributed to the development of his disease, but he continued to smoke cigarettes while undergoing treatment. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing good about cigarettes. No one's gonna argue that point. But Michael Landon was another one. Michael Landon died really young, but in his 50s or whatever. So either way, she's got to be on there. And Howard again couldn't be more cringe, and he's dressed in the same outfit he has in the photograph for the negligee and underpants. No, sorry, not the negligee and underpants. The New Year's Rotten Eve video. That's the cover of the videotape. This is the same getup that he's wearing, and you tell me about the look. What do you think? I love that big turn and this. The hair's got to go.
It is the worst intro ever.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, listen. It's Howard Stern on the Howard Stern interview, but more importantly, I've requested again that we have one of these little chats. Isn't this nice where it's me talking to you one-on-one? Isn't it fantastic? The idea that we can look eye to eye at one another and discuss the show and how it's going. By the way, my guest tonight will be Moon Zappa and her father, Frank. Frank has been very ill. You've heard that Frank isn't doing interviews anymore because of his cancer. Frank is coming on the show. What I did, I told him I was his doctor, and he's going to call in and maybe get some advice from me. So Moon Zappa will be here, and Frank Zappa will be here. It's going to be exciting. But more importantly, let me address a few things. A lot of money goes into this show. A lot of care goes into this show. Why is it we have gum on the podium? Can we see that? That's something I found. One of the people stuck gum on my podium, but that's okay. It shows you how innocent this program is. Also,
what's the fucking point of that?
And how innocent the program is, like it was defiled. Like
Yeah.
this piece of gum.
I love he's got the pointer out, which I don't think I've seen one of those for probably, I don't know, 25 years.
Yeah. And it's like he's trying to be a ringleader for a circus and a professor, and like he's awkward at nothing about this feels natural.
Mm-hmm.
And he has no charisma. There's nothing exuding from him that makes me want to listen to him. I don't find it compelling.
Well, this is keep in mind the E show was limited to. I mean, certain markets would not carry the E show, and if it was cable, and some people, I don't remember if it was part of basic cable in Canada, and I don't remember exactly. I know we got it, but that had nothing to do with us requesting it. It just sort of came with whatever package we were buying, and we didn't have a lot of coverage. Do you recall at the time what the first Stern stuff on TV that you got regularly that you saw in your part neck of the woods?
I was one of those individuals who still had a black and white TV into the 2000s, so probably the wrong.
Yeah.
And it had bunny ears too. I only had to get rid of them because it was in the 2000s when you couldn't use them anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm the wrong one to ask. But in terms of friends and people talking about having seen the show,
yeah,
I'm in the middle of Canada, Western Canada, and none of my friends talked about the TV aspects. The only thing that they would speak about were the radio parts that they would hear. Because again, it was difficult to get them on the radio for a long time.
Yep.
Here as well, but yet no one mentioned the TV. And it wasn't until starting to get into YouTube I was like, whoa, there's this whole other world here. So then that's when I dove into a lot of the stuff.
Well, and that's exactly the. I mean, aside from the books, and that was initially that was my understanding of the Stern show, and if I ever caught him on late night shows, like late night talk show appearances, daytime occasionally. He was on Donahue at one point, and it's some super cringeworthy every time he's on there. All these experiences on TV, the Channel 9 show, his Fox pilots, it's strictly a matter of being so uncomfortable in his own skin that he can't be comfortable in front of a camera. Yet you would have thought he would have at least taken some, I don't know, some solace or some measure of confidence in having done it so many times. But I guess if he's not comfortable personally, he'll never be comfortable on film.
Yeah, and right now he's by himself too. And part of what Howard's done to control his image and his narrative is he comes in very aggressive into interviews.
Yep.
And he takes it over. Well, right now he can't take over himself. So we're seeing that really vulnerable, raw 11-year-old kid who knows he isn't funny and doesn't have anyone to bully at that point to make himself look better. So.
Well, that's it. Or to cover up with the fact that he's so painfully awkward. I'll just give you an example. The Jiminy, is it Jiminy Glick? The Martin Short,
Oh yeah,
who does
watching
interviews.
some of those. Yeah.
Well, he interviewed. Remember one time Seinfeld was on it. Like he was talking to Seinfeld, and I remember what was fascinating was Seinfeld starts off kind of thinking, okay, well, I'll just roast, the character, and I'll go after him. And he does for a little bit, but as soon as the tables are turned, as soon as Martin Short in the character starts going after Seinfeld, you could see that Jerry is not comfortable because he's getting the needle. And it reminded me of the story of when Gilbert used to do the impression of Seinfeld in the clubs. Seinfeld would have to leave because he said, that doesn't sound like me. So this bluster is not backed up by actual self-confidence. I think a lot of it is just exactly that. Bullshit, posing for in lieu of actual confidence.
Yeah, and or their confidence is coming from a place, that can't always be backed up or supported. But that's where, like with Seinfeld, you see very controlled interviews, if he even does an interview now. And Howard put himself into TV. He didn't have to, and he knew all along, but his ego and his narcissism is just so big that he's not able to step back and go, not my platform, not today, or to be a minor kind of shadow and let the puppets kind of dance on the stage with his face there as the pole, the initial pole or whatever. But no, he has to be front and center and awkward.
Yeah, he couldn't be Don Kirshner, doing the rock concert, and just hosting it and be happy with his name on the credits and then have the performers do the work. Let's be honest. Like the Carson show is a perfect example again, because Carson wanted, he wasn't insecure. He wanted the best guests, the best performers, what have you. And he was content to let them shine, knowing that he would look good by association, just being there and hosting it. If they looked good, he looked good, the show looked good. It was a better package altogether. Howard was so short-sighted. It was all about, how do I look physically? Like, how do I look when I see myself on screen? Carson was never about that. And most of these guys are all, even Letterman, they're all about, is it funny? Am I getting the ratings? That's what's important. He's not about, he can be self-deprecating a little bit, but you know that there's such a deep-seated insecurity about Howard that he's still unhappy. Like, even ratings, it's not about ratings, it's how do I look, and he always looks like shit. And no matter how much he dresses and plays dress up with Ralph, he can't get past that hump.
Yeah, well, the clothes wear him. I think we've established that.
Yep, big time.
He doesn't.
They're actually another character on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You might want to take a look at my outfit. This is a brand new design. Do you beam me up, Scotty? Beam me up. Does it work? Beam me up. Okay, very good. Now, let me address a few things. Rather quickly, here is a letter I received. It is a hate letter. And this does not help the show because the executives here at E, they get nervous. and they think the show isn't going well when you send hate letters. Let me give you an example of a terrible hate letter I received. It's bad enough. Now, this guy is very happy with the E! Network. He likes it, the E! channel. It's bad enough you put Robert Klein on his own, all right, on his own. This guy is stuck in the 50s. I could live with Robert Klein, but Howard Stern has got to go. Now, this doesn't help our cause. It's hard enough for me to be on television and be accepted by mainstream America, and if you write this kind of mail, they lose confidence. Howard Stern is not controversial. He is an absolute idiot that is trying to push his brand of entertainment, which is obscene in more ways than one. When he talks, the only thing that comes out of his mouth is foul language. Not true, you and when he interviews, he asks questions I wouldn't ask a hooker. I have an FCC license, which is a lie because the FCC doesn't issue licenses anymore. I have an FCC license also, and know what our limitations are on the air. And this is a very terrible letter, and it really hurts me. I'm very, very upset. Also, we've asked fans if they have any questions about the show. They have questions of me that they can address those now. And let's take a look at our public. Here we go. Take a look at this screen right here, and let's see what they have to say.
Yeah, Howard, my name's BC. I was just wondering about the Richard Marx show when he wouldn't play a song for you. You know, not even Happy Birthday or whatever. I was just wondering why you didn't kick him off the show or whatever.
It's not my job to kick people off the show, my good friend, but I got news for you. I will never do a listener tape segment again. I'm kicking you off the show because that's a ridiculous question. I can't throw people off the show. Then what am I going to do here for a half hour? Pick my nose? That's a silly question. Go ahead.
Well, he's absolutely right. Yeah, I don't. There's certain. It's like I played that Crossroads Benny Hill episode where he's got these horrible guests on that don't answer questions except for one-word answers, and one Broadway star comes in, she's all loaded, and she can't get a sentence out. It's just a nightmare. But yeah, he's wholly dependent on killing time. Like that's been the radio show shtick, and I think that's one thing that always appeared to me on his shows, not the late night talk shows, when he himself had his own show and all these other things. When it was just him on the radio and the cameras were on him and he didn't have to really concentrate, it was just a matter of editing it together to put some product out. He was at his most comfortable, and that's the way it should have been. I still don't understand, other than hubris, what it could have been for him to say, this would be a great idea. Me one-on-one with the camera.
Yeah. No, it doesn't make sense. And when it was lively in the studio and it seemed rawish, and I know now we understand that it was more scripted than not.
Oh, yeah.
But it was fun to listen to. It was chaos in a bottle, and it was great and entertaining. And he didn't notice the lulls. When he's on his own, you realize he can't pick up a piece of paper on his own, let alone tell a joke.
Yeah.
And a good talent would be somebody who's able to say to Richard Marx, "You get out of here. That I got no time for you." And then they'd fill that time with something else. And I teach, and I've gone in and had PowerPoints not work, or I've brought the wrong lecture to class or whatever. And you're standing in front of 300 students, and it's up to me to fill that time and to fill that void. And I've been doing it for 20 years, so I can, right? And he should also be able to make those calls.
Yep.
And he can't.
Well, the other thing is this is a taped show. It's not live. There's no concern that, I can't do this. If a guest does a no-show, it's canceled. He can't film it, then there has to be something else, or there has to be something available in the can, or they do so many episodes. I doubt he went every single, actually he did go weekly to the West Coast to film these. So there did have to be some level of planning, but I don't think he had much say in it in terms of who he was going to interview. It would all be like, who can I get, fill them in, and if it's a no-show, then I guess we're going to play a rerun for the next week, and then we'll make it up because someone didn't bother showing up. What I don't understand is exactly what you said. Even if you don't have it, you should have enough to fake it. Why doesn't he? Why can't he fill in? His he's not filibustering. His padding skills are non-existent. I imagine when you started teaching, you had jitters, or you had you're like, oh my God, this nightmare, the PowerPoint's not working, the projector's broken, or the sound is
Yeah.
off. And how did you deal with it? Well, I guess you just fly by the seat of your pants.
Yeah. And you should have enough knowledge, enough in your, so-called back pocket that you can throw out and throw on the stage or whatever. And you can turn it. In this situation, like, you can't turn it to the audience like I could to a student and make them kind of teach the class themselves.
Right.
But also he should have enough with the experiences that he has had up to this point.
Yeah.
To fill that time with just talking about examples of people who have failed him, or whatever it is.
Something.
And yeah, but again, he can't draw on this because it doesn't matter. The only thing running through his brain is me, 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 me,
Yeah.
me. That's all he hears.
Yep.
Hi, this is Eric from Los Angeles. Howard, I've seen you have the same haircut for years, the same rock and roll style. Did you ever think about going short for once?
I had short hair, and I look like Herman Munster. I'll show you a picture of what I'm talking about. This is my head with Sam Donaldson's hair on there. Take a look at this. There I am. Now, does that answer your question? Look at...
And that's completely like some wig on top of a bald. Like that again, at this time, I'm certain bald, but for hair pieces, not implants. Later on, they become implants, but I think bald as a jaybird, and that's why that looks so obvious. Because look, this weird, this coif that doesn't fit completely. Like, it's not his own hair flattened down or bound in the back and rolled up. I think he was full on wig at this point. Yeah,
I agree.
Nose, I draw your attention to the nose. It looks more prominent. The mouth appears to be crooked. There are lines going down the side. Like, you ever see the Jerry Mahoney dummy, the puppet? Look at the lines going down on the side, and the forehead protrudes, much like the monster Frankenstein. There is no reason for that to have short hair. This covers a nice portion of my face. Next question.
Hi, Howard. My name's Danielle Schumann. I'm from San Francisco, California, and I was wondering why on your TV show you do those boards with all the women that your male people have been with and your guests. And it seems sort of demeaning to women that you have them like on a board as if that's sort of like a trophy thing. I don't know. Why do you do that?
I do it because in Hollywood, most women are trophies. And you are absolutely right. A lot of the stars who come on here take up with these young women, 18, 19 years old. It's very exciting for me to talk about. And you're right, they're trophies. When you're a big star, what else is left? You get a trophy girlfriend. So, unfortunately...
I saw you sort of motioning like, boy, this aged rather well.
Yeah, it's like he was writing his own script, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Definitely, the truth sometimes hurts. And finally, this question.
I just have a question for you, Howard Stern. My name is Stephanie Bradley. I'm Melrose Avenue, and I just want to ask, why do you think it's really necessary to tear everybody apart so brutally?
No. Come here. You think that this hairstyle looks good, and the way you dress me like Dracula looks good? You think that that's...
Looks great.
This is the moron who dresses me every week, and this is the idiot who does...
Fucking hell. I didn't think Ralph actually made it on camera.
I didn't recognize him with the long hair. Like they mimicked each other. Wow.
I thought for a moment I thought it was Stuttering John from the side because it's all hair until he turns.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Fucking hell. Let me just see if I can make this a little larger and hold on.
We've just cracked another code in the Wiggyverse.
Okay, so I don't know if that looks any better. His teeth obviously fucked up, but yeah, this is oh God, this is a grooming photo.
This is like, is it narcissism, like staring into the pool at his own reflection? This is
right.
Exactly it. These two the whole time, like I noticed it a few times, but this makes it so bloody obvious. Wow.
Yes. I mean, it really, I'm shocked because I've seen the Moon portion, but I've not seen this intro stuff because well, when I did finally get to watch it, I just forwarded ahead. I didn't even bother. Like I said, where is the interview? You know, I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
ADHD, but I'm like, I don't care about this fucking shit. And no different than going past the, you know, the zoo animals on the Tonight Show. I wanted to see what guests came in.
Does this to my hair, and if you notice, I don't know what's going on, but the hair is in my eyes. I'm on television. The hair is in my eyes. Fix it. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're a dope. You're not a professional. That's your problem. And I have gum on the podium. You would think that somebody would notice it. Come on, come on. Don't joke around.
This is such amateur hour bullshit.
And it's just I find the energy dead. It's awkward.
Yes.
And you're not getting, you know, obviously there are people there while he's recording, and they're not doing anything to add to what's going on. In fact, they're almost sucking the energy out of the room even more.
And it's a one camera shoot. That, like, as far as I can tell, it's literally, you know, in this slow panning back, and let's get this TV in focus. Why do you have to pan to a TV? Well, because he's deciding, I need to make this visual. I'm going to point to a TV. If there's no TV, you don't have to do that. You can just literally go like, hey, let me show you this, and cut to it. Boom, there you go. It's a faster moving show. But by zooming back, you're actually, it's almost like turtling into, you know, like, oh, there we go. And then it's dead air. Like, by the time it takes to get to that cut to show the fucking TV, you've lost people. They're already switching the channel.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't berate people. I think if somebody does a bad job, you have to certainly say something. In this business, you have to climb over people to get to where you're going, my dear. You cannot tell me that I am mean to people, though. That's absurd. Well, I'm excited about tonight's show. I think it's going to be really good. Moon Zappa will be here. What is it like to be the daughter? Really, what is it like to be the daughter of a rock star? What is it like to grow up in that kind of household? Frank Zappa will be calling in. That's right. Moon's father will call in while we're talking with him. He's been ill. You've been reading about it. But Frank has agreed to call in. This is one of the rare interviews. So when we come back, we'll get to all that. I think this has been good, that we sat and talked one-on-one. You learned absolutely nothing. I said nothing for about 7 minutes. But why not? It killed some time. Isn't that correct?
So this is like 2 or 3 times he's mentioned who's going to be on, and it was absolute filler, 100%. And I'm amazed he actually admits to it, that it's just filler. And I guess that's the irreverent part that people might find amusing. But again, a real producer would have just gone straight to the guest.
Oh, easily. Like, this should have been on the cutting room floor, and they would have said, let's just tighten it up. We'll do a short intro, you do the interview, and then we'll put some clips or something at the end to fluff it out if we need more filler stuff in there. And he's insulting everyone who's watching. He just admitted, like, I put zero effort into this, but hey, I wasted time.
Well, okay, so here's my question to you. All the, you know, the stories of him talking about how we were offered a talk show, whatever, Fox. He was saying that Fox, like, after, like in the early 80s, before the Chevy Chase show was sold to Fox, basically. And Joan Rivers, blah, blah, blah. Joan Rivers, that was a different era. That was 7 years earlier on Fox, when she got shit canned, and they were considering Howard, and he did those test pilots. Do you think this was just all enough information out there, including the show, that people in Hollywood or in New York, whoever's deciding to try a production, would see it and go, he's no good for TV?
I think so. That's the only thing that would have killed it at that point, because when you think about his popularity, he was almost a shoo-in for stuff like that.
Yeah.
As a no-brainer sort of thing. And the fact that it didn't materialize at a higher and a better produced level,
right,
to me speaks volumes.
So it wasn't like, it wouldn't have even been as simple as he's not getting ratings, because it wouldn't be a ratings situation in this point. In this context, it would be more a matter of, well, let's see what he's done before we, you know, if there's examples of him on screen, why wouldn't we look at that before we can consider signing him to a deal to do a talk show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, you know, if you look at what Sirius didn't listen how they should have, and they put all their eggs in his cart, and then, you know, we know the rest of it. They've struggled ever since then. And it sounds like, or it seems like, people in the TV realm just said, no,
yep,
we're out. We're not even doing it. Yeah.
Well, that's right. So then if it wasn't him in his element, in his environment, then it was nothing.
Yeah. And even with his fan base, which was cult-like and still is, there's still hardcore ones.
Yeah.
Even with that given fan base, which is before the internet and everything, which was really impressive, let's be honest.
Sure.
But even with those numbers sitting there, it still wasn't enough because they're always thinking what new audiences is going to bring. How do we advertise? Where's the money coming in to support this? And none of that would have worked with him.
Zero. It wasn't like it's like I'm trying to think of a comparison. Well, let's go with books. Let's go with the New York Times bestseller list. You don't actually need to sell shitloads of copies to make it on the bestseller list. Then you put it on the next, the second printing, top 10 bestseller, even though it's not true. It's erroneous. It's like for a week it was. But you can brag about that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you've got the next Grisham on your hands. But you can spin it any way you want. It's no different than reviews for shitty movies. They start putting them new posters out and say, so and so from the New York Times says this is fantastic, whatever. And you're doing this to try to plug a hole that's so deep, meaning you're losing money on this film. At that point, you're try hard. You're doing anything you can to make it happen. With him, he doesn't have this. He doesn't have like what little is out there is more than enough to dissuade anybody from giving him serious money for a serious project where he could be on TV interviewing people. And if they didn't have this, they had his talk show appearances, and they could see that there's not enough there.
Yeah. There was only one, like with David Letterman, because David and him played off of each other reasonably well. If they had only seen that, they might have went, oh, Howard seems quick-witted, but they don't understand, again, that was very scripted. It was very known what was going to happen. Because David doesn't operate in chaos and Howard doesn't operate in chaos. So they both came together, they fit each other's puzzle pieces, and it was entertaining, but not enough. Like there wasn't something else that made you crave more and come back for more.
Oh, yeah.
What? It is correct, yes. So, well, we'll be back right after this.
Never fails, this intro.
Hey, look at me. Look at me on the couch. Look at me sitting here for the Howard Stern interview. Isn't it fun? And now this portion of the program is very important.
He doesn't even know what camera he's on. Again, he's looking away. He's looking back, forth. When he was on the other camera, he was looking over the other way. Not one person in that studio said, or if they did, he couldn't see them. Do you think that's the situation? He's got contacts on and he's blind as a bat.
That could be too. And aren't they very, I mean, I've been in studios doing stuff, but nothing like this. But, when the cameras are on, aren't they showing like green, or whoever's on the camera is like raising a hand saying, here. And so they're, unless Ralph is also running the cameras.
You think he's the camera operator? Like, you decide which one is on, dude, and I'll just shoot anyway.
Yeah.
Well, usually you're right. There's a green light or there's some kind of light to indicate which one's the prominent camera. And then or at the very least, the guy's going to go and go, and there's a hand comes out, and that's what you're looking for. And he's struggling to find some cue.
This is Moon Unit Zappa. Moon Unit Zappa, the daughter of Frank Zappa, of course. Frank will be calling in during the show. But your father is not feeling well. He has cancer.
Yeah, he has cancer.
But he is calling in. He has agreed to call in, which I'm very proud of, because I don't think he's done many interviews recently.
That's true, but cancer doesn't stop you from being able to make phone calls, so that can happen. That's going to happen now.
So we've learned one thing. You can make phone calls when you have cancer. Let me say that Moon and I have known each other for a couple of years. I find you very adorable.
That's very kind.
Yes, I really do. I always found you very sexual. I always,
fucking hell. I mean, we know what to expect. We know this is going to be his angle, but it's again, you're talking about a closeted fruit. So it's all meaningless on so many levels. And I at the time I was okay when this is happening. I was 17. She's a child. I think she was born she's about 7 years older than I am. and I found her very cute, actually. Really, really. But Frank was a good-looking guy, and her mother, Gail, is also, she was an ex-groupie. She's very, very pretty, so she had a good chance at the DNA sweepstakes.
But look at how small. So she looks childlike, which was the style then, the dresses and the socks and the shoes. I
Yeah.
was wearing it, everyone. So that was the style, but she looks very childlike, and she's making her body really small while he's moving in on her space, and he's got the man spread going with his legs, so he's
Right.
taking up more room than he needs to.
Yeah.
So again, he's in his element. He's making her uncomfortable, and
Big
that's
time.
his shtick right there.
Yep.
I always would like to see you in a more tapered outfit. No, really, but I would like to see, because you're a young woman. How old are you now?
25.
25. I would like to see your body sometimes. I think you have a good body. You work out a lot, right? Now, let me get this straight. This outfit is what? This is what? Grunge? No, really, what is it? Because you never show up your body, right?
I don't think about that. That's not necessarily one of the things. I just don't think about showing off my body.
This would be like a thrift store chic. This is the kind of stuff you would go if you wanted to dress like back in the day, like you didn't give a fuck. You didn't have any affectations.
Yeah, and it reminds me of Elaine from Seinfeld as well. The dresses she would wear with the vests over top, and
Yep.
again, it was just the style at that time. And this is not. If he thinks this is grunge, he just again told on himself that he doesn't know.
And I was trying to think of at the time, because grunge. First of all, it's early '90s. Okay, fine. He doesn't. I love the fact that it's the dead of 2009. It's a dead of '92. Like Bad Motorfinger, 10, never mind.
Yeah.
All these records have come out, of course. Bad Motorfinger, they're all coming out or have come out or about to, and he's still dressing like Chips Enough from Enough's Enough. He's still dressing like he's the ringleader of the 80s. He's going to do an introduction to the Monsters of Rock tour at Donington.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't, when he gets into grunge, it's over. People are playing Lou Bega at the time he starts dressing like grunge.
Well, in his way of dressing like grunge, didn't he get Ralph to run over a pair of his boots or something like that?
Yeah,
to
they
make it look
had
more-
he said they took his Jeep and had them run over them to make them look more distressed. Now, posers back in the day, I can speak from experience. A poser had, first of all, they dressed in all black back in the early 90s. Doc Martens were de rigueur. Like you had to have a pair of Docs. Cherry red or black. Those are the two options. Mostly black. Some type of band paraphernalia, usually 9 Inch Nails. Like that was a key component. Black denim, all this bullshit. Of course, the hairstyle had to match and all that crap. But again, it was a pose. Like there's no, it's all very considered. There's nothing aesthetically, unique about any of it. She's choosing to go on there like as she is.
Mm.
Yeah.
And she looks comfortable.
I think so. Yeah.
She
It may
looks
not
cute
be.
and she looks comfortable.
I think so.
Good, though. It's beautiful, I think. I think it's very beautiful, and yet you always downplay your whole look, don't you?
I guess I do. Is this a makeover?
Because I would love to do a makeover with you. Have you ever dressed up in mini skirt and a bippy top?
No.
Never.
I don't even know what a bippy top is.
That's the one that exposes your stomach a little.
No, I haven't
But you have a
done
good
that.
stomach, right?
Yeah, from what I've been told.
There's
from
no
what I
rolls of
know
fat
personally.
hanging over your stomach?
No.
No, because
to
I
be
can see
honest.
that you're tight. I can see that things are tight. And do you go swimming?
For exercise or recreation?
No, do you ever wear a bathing suit?
Yeah.
But the reason that you dress this way is being Frank Zappa's daughter. There is a pressure on you, on your brother Dweezil, and Amit.
And I have a sister Diva.
Diva. But there is a pressure for you to look and act a little bit bizarre. True?
No.
To be cool, because Frank is so cool. Frank Zappa, the great musician, is so cool and so hip.
Okay, this is a complete, nonsensical take. Zappa was never cool. He never concerned himself with being cool. And the kids, the only thing that was really odd about them, well, later on we find out their entire lives were odd. If you read their book, their takes on when they, how they grew up in that household, their names were the oddest things about them.
Yeah. which can set the tone for people's expectations of you. And you use my initials for this, but my name as a case in point. When people meet me, they expect something from me just based on my name that I have. And so she would live with that. But I would think if the kids were running around and putting on fake fronts or, acting or dressing weird just for the sake of dressing weird, I don't know that Frank would have support. He probably would have called them out and been like, dudes,
Well, he didn't. It was the weirdest household, and there was a Dutch, I don't know, super fan slash interviewer. He interviewed Zappa and said, "Look, I love the guy. I love his music, and I think he's a genius. But I would hate to have been a child in his family. Like he was a monster in terms of not he wasn't abusive or in the way of you would characterize abuse, but he would come home with VD and then tell his wife, look, I obviously I need some penicillin or whatever the fuck it is, just deal with it, basically.
Wow. Yeah.
And the kids see this and they see that the mother's obviously hurt, and what are they supposed to do? Most kids would take up with the mother and really resent the father, but the mother, Gail, was such like she was a nightmare in herself, so they couldn't. So you have almost two unsympathetic parents, like neither one you can really relate to, and one's an absentee father for the most part. That's probably the one thing he shares with Frank Zappa, that not much of a father between the two of them.
Yeah. But meanwhile, he can tell any female that he meets how to dress, miniskirt, show your belly.
Yep.
And with the release of the Epstein files and everything else, this stuff becomes more uncomfortable.
Oh yes.
To hear.
Yeah. And it's for a lot of it, for what we see, of course, what's able to be shown to people, even though redacted and stuff, is emails. But don't you find the starkness of the emails, what you read in them, besides all the misspellings, and you realize how many awful like writers there are out there, that because it's just an email, it seems even creepier.
Yeah. It's casual, like, oh, can you pick up milk on the way home? I won't say anything that's in the emails, but that's how casual this tossing around of humans is.
Yep.
And speaking about like what Howard does with the bodies, he compartmentalizes, he over sexualizes them, and he's doing it to show that he's a heterosexual man, obviously.
100%.
100%. But and it just makes it uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
There is this pressure almost to be hip. You drop out of school at what, 16?
Yeah.
Because your father thinks it's a good idea, right?
No, actually, I had too much to do once Valley Girl sort of took off.
When your hit song Valley Girls takes off, you're ready to go on tour.
I was an adult at 14, which was a problem for me.
What do you mean you were an adult at 14?
Well, what I mean is that I had a job to do, and other kids couldn't relate to having a job where I was making money, so...
Right. Did you make enough? Well, okay. Did you make enough money so that you don't have to work? There's one hit record.
Oh, can you imagine? I would love to have a job like that.
Because
no,
I don't. Because
no.
let me say something here. First of all,
this is an interesting bone of contention. She talks about it in her book, and I wholeheartedly recommend it to everybody. It's even though it's a brilliant book. The writing style is uniquely her own, and she's had a book out called America the Beautiful, in which she uses surrogates, I think, to really describe her family life. And this is a chance to do a memoir with the real names unredacted, so to speak. And she talks about that period in the early 80s where Valley Girl became a massive hit. I mean, most people who know Zappa, that's the one thing they'll go to because, it was an MTV hit, early MTV, and it was a radio hit for a long time. Yeah. The Valley Speak. But she says it was, Frank kind of resented that because it became so popular, he was forced to, because he was forced to give it serious consideration on tour instead of doing whatever he wanted to do because the audiences might have got a bit bigger because there's a hit. That always happens with bands. You're expected to play that fucking hit now because it's a hit.
Yeah.
And he resented it a little bit because he was doing all this music, and suddenly, because his daughter, who comes in, because out of a want of spending time with her father, saying, "Look, do you have anything for me to do? Because I barely get to see you. You're in the studio all the time." She slipped a note under his door, and he said, "Well, what can you do?" And that's how the genesis of the song came out.
Wow.
She started doing the Valley Speak, and then she started doing tours, like interviews with them. He's on Letterman with Moon. Frank is when around the time of the thing. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's definitely a must watch. So she's got to get out of school because this is a hit. It's bringing money into the family, but she doesn't see a lot of it.
Yeah. And it's interesting how she's she's like a lot of other individuals with two absent parents. They become the parent.
Yes.
And it sounds like, and you know the family structure better than I do, it sounds like she's the oldest daughter in that situation. So then she becomes the mom.
Yep.
And that's a lot of responsibility. So when she's talking 16, in her mind, she's actually in her 20s with the stuff that she's having to deal with, her 20s and 30s. So her dropping out of school makes sense. Like she said, I already had a job. I wasn't relating to people around me. And that makes sense. And it also makes his question about her dressing to please her father even more ridiculous, just with that bit of info.
Oh yeah.
Well, you have a bohemian lifestyle. I don't see you doing a lot of things. I mean, you don't have a regular job, right?
I'm now ready to have a regular job.
You are?
Yeah.
You were going to go into it. What kind of job are you looking for? If anyone is watching and you would like to hire this young lady, she's very qualified. She dropped out of school at 16. There should be absolutely zero problem with that.
I have no skills.
You have no skills.
Right.
You were an MTV VJ. And your brother ruined that for you,
right.
true?
He ruined everything, actually.
Your brother Dweezil ruined your VJ job.
Wait, how did he ruin the VJ job?
He came on my radio show and he made fun of MTV.
Oh yeah, that's not very good to do.
No.
If you're on the channel and then you make fun of it.
And it was very good for you guys to be on MTV, true?
Yeah.
It helped your career immensely.
I guess. I mean,
You
I don't
became
really
a
know what it
household
did.
word.
Yeah, I don't know how helpful that is, though, really.
But your brother comes on my show and he bites the hand that feeds him. He says the music is horrible on MTV, the videos are no good, and now his ass is off MTV, and so is yours. You are linked to him, true?
To Dweezil?
Yeah.
My life is separate from Dweezil's life,
but
actually.
didn't you say to him, why did you cost me my job at MTV?
No, because actually, I wasn't thinking I would always want to be a VJ, and now at this stage, I think that to just have fame and be known for your personality, unless that's going to be your career goal, it actually can work against you if, for example, you want to go into film and do other
What
acting
regular
parts.
job do you want to have now?
Regular acting job.
No, you want to be an actress. That's not a regular job. All right, we're going to talk to Frank Zappa.
Jesus fuck, he's one to talk. It's ironic because his entire career has been made up based on his false personality.
Yeah. False personality. He never had a job besides this, basically. Like he talks about his dishwashing job
Right,
and all
at
that
summer
other stuff.
camp.
And we know that that's all crap. It's lies. It's overstated.
Yes.
His dad gave him his career.
He did. For the longest time, I thought like his father, he was instrumental in other ways, but not specifically being a Nepo hire. But he did open him up into the doorway of, look, you can't do anything else, so let's try radio.
Yeah, and paid for everything and helped him with the audition tapes. And I'm sure his dad was making phone calls behind the scenes saying, hey, put that one at the top of the pile. That's my son.
He's and I'm sure actually I'm sure it wasn't even put at the top of the pile. It'd be more like, look, my son's a fuck up. Do me a favor and just see him and see what you can do. If you could even put him on the lower level, like just make him a production assistant or something, anything to get him out of the house and get him off my fucking, get him off my nut, because he's useless. I'll be feeding him the rest of my life. Ben really did think Howard was never going to amount to anything.
Yeah, and do you think if he hadn't met Fred and Robin that he would have amounted to anything?
No, he would have been a DJ at a lower tier station for most of his life and retired in obscurity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. Some small town, small center, small radio station, bounced around, changing formats, and he's just there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and he'd be introducing announcing ribbon cutting ceremonies at supermarkets the rest of his life, or at least until the duration of the death of radio. But I don't think so, because I mean, look at it now. I mean, the show when it falls, and this is kind of a good narrative, point to discuss. He, when you stripped away everything off the show, you were left with him, and there's not enough there to appeal in 2025, 2026, and there wasn't in 1992. So clearly, nobody was doing their homework with him.
Yeah, and I've been on the fan chatter, like the people who actually like Howard Stern. I hide in the shadows and read their stuff. But the last few days, really, a lot of people bringing up Robin's declining health, that she isn't interacting as much, she's fumbling more, making mistakes. And they're recognizing now, because even when she was still not contributing a lot, she was there.
Yeah.
And so it buffered and it hid a lot of the stuff. So there are people now in the fan group saying, wow, like he's not entertaining it. Like their eyes are opening up to the what have I been watching and listening to? Yeah.
Well, and it's not even so much a situation where he's God, what's his name? I was just thinking about the singer. God, not Stephen Perry. David Lee Roth. You know, like, we need him, get him back into Van Halen, get him back into Van Halen. Then you start hearing him even on those reunion tour shows from the like late 2000s, and his voice is shot. It's not what it used to be. He never had a great voice to begin with, and it's even worse. And now he's continuing, like, oh my God, did we back the wrong horse all these years? It's like, no, it's in that situation, that's a guy who had it, lost it. Howard never had it. So there's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been dressed up by a host of other people propping him up. So who deserves that contract? Is it really Artie? Is it Howard, or is it Artie and the rest of the crew?
Yeah. And we know the answer. It was never Howard.
Never.
We'll be on the phone. And Moon Unit is here, and we'll find out all of these various things when we get back, right here on the Howard Stern interview.
Every time the head pops up.
Okay, I'm here with Moon Zappa, of course. We're having a good time. And on our phone is your father, Frank Zappa. Frank, can you hear me?
Yep.
We were just, Frank's voice, we're looking up for Frank. We hear Frank's voice. I just asked Moon, did you ever yell at her when she was a kid? Because I'm thinking about my own kids, and I'm thinking about how, like, I'm trying not to act uptight. I'm not trying to, because he raised good kids. You guys don't do drugs or anything like that.
Right.
So I try not to act uptight with the kids and all that stuff. So your father never yelled at you?
No, you didn't. Did you, Daddy?
I don't think so.
I don't remember you ever doing it.
Treated you as a friend?
Yeah.
And Frank, how are you feeling now? Of course, we've all read that you have cancer, prostate cancer.
Yeah, I feel okay.
You feel good today?
Yeah, this is a good day.
But the thing is, to me, that is an operable kind of cancer, right? I mean, prostate cancer is one of those cancers you read about that kind of, they could, there's a high cure rate, isn't there?
If they catch it in time.
And you never caught yours in time? I mean, you let it wait?
Well, I'm not the one responsible for the test that came back. I'd been to a number of doctors, and when they finally told me that I had it, it was too late to operate on it. And
was it that they missed finding this in you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. There's no two ways about it. But I interviewed actually years ago Pauline Butcher, who was his secretary. She was from England, and from 68 or 60, I think from 68 to 71, she worked as his personal secretary, and she was living with him in the Tom Mix cabin in Laurel Canyon in the late 60s, whatever, when Moon was alive and Dweezil was getting born. And she says it was a madhouse. Like, Mick Jagger was in there, like members of Pink Floyd were at the house, and Frank was like, I don't care who they are. I'm in the studio. I'm doing work. And he really didn't have an affectation like, oh, a rock star is here. I'm impressed by this, because he was so consumed by his work, and clearly socially awkward himself, Frank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she pointed out that when she interviewed him in like 1988, like she met up with him and she was coughing up and like almost like emphysema type coughing, and she wanted to tell him, like, cigarettes are really awful for you. You should stop smoking. And he was really kind of, he took the Mickey out of her, and he's just saying like, that's all that's bullshit about the cigarettes. He believed there's all bullshit what the health industry says about cigarettes, and meanwhile here he is dying, on his deathbed, having caused it himself most likely.
Yeah, and by caused it, meaning that he weakened his body's system enough that the cancer was able to get a foothold, in his body. And Howard, his knowledge of cancer has not improved
No.
since this. Yeah, sure, there are some that are curable, operable, all these different things.
Yep.
But people don't recognize the symptoms, and especially when you're aging.
Yes.
We're wearing meat suits. It breaks down, it deteriorates over time, so you're not sure, is it aging, or is it a symptom I should go have it checked out? And prostate cancer, like pancreatic, is one of the worst, but prostate cancer is difficult for it to be diagnosed.
Yes, if you're asymptomatic, it's one of the worst. And unfortunately, what they call the silent killer. Well, there's a few silent killers out there, of course, but it's the worst unless you by chance go and get this sorted out. Like my Mrs. Fillmore's aunt had a car accident. She was fine. It was minor, but she had to go to the hospital anyway to get checked out, and they found bowel cancer in the tests. So she was lucked out. She took that piece of the bowel, whatever it was that was cancerous, early stages, took it out. Had she not had that accident, she wouldn't have found it until it was too late.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that have it and will live until they pass, quote unquote, naturally.
Yep.
And it never impacts. And then there's other people, they're, wipes them right out very quickly. So, but Howard, asking these questions again, he still would ask the same questions, and he hasn't learned. Like he's blaming him and guilting him, and I'm sure Frank doesn't want to hear this right now.
No, he doesn't.
But you never even felt anything coming on or anything like that, right? I mean,
no, I had some urinary problems for a while, and that's why I kept going to the doctor. But none of them said I had cancer. And when the guy finally did say that I had it, he said it was pretty bad.
So on a day-to-day basis, still writing music, still doing everything that you always did, right?
Yeah, still working in the studio.
Yeah, and the studio is in the house.
Right.
And what about Moon? Is Moon you living at home?
No.
You're not?
I live a short distance away.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the deal, Moon? Now your father is supporting you now? What is going on? Frank, I'm trying to figure this whole relationship out. I'm trying to ask Moon before the last segment what the heck she's doing now.
I'm trying to leave the nest, Howard. That's what's happening. I'm trying to not take money from my family.
Frank, are the kids able to support themselves?
To a degree.
They are?
Yeah.
So the point is we have to get Moon a job,
right.
Is that correct?
That would be good, really.
That would be good right now.
Yeah.
And the point is that you are proud of your children, you like the people that they turned out to be, but at the same point you would like them to stop leaching off you.
Exactly,
is that correct?
Get a life.
Because it's got to be upsetting to you.
Now, what's this feedback is fucking driving me nuts. You heard a few squeaks earlier on, right?
Yeah.
What in God's that has to be the phone connection, right? That's feeding back.
But why? Like they've got enough people around doing sound and they can't figure this again. Amateur.
A complete amateur hour. EE stands for I don't know.
Everything
It's
except professional.
Yeah, exceptional status, I suppose.
Yeah, there's got to be an end to it sometime, Howard.
There really has. I mean, Frank, in other words, are you constantly writing out checks to Moon and paying for the apartment and all that other stuff?
No.
And Frank, don't you feel that being your kid, I would love to have been Frank Zappa's kid.
No,
I'll
you
tell you
wouldn't
what. My parents were very uptight, and I imagine in the house, Frank is totally liberal, totally loose. You could sleep with guys in the house, true?
Well,
Frank, would you allow her to sleep with guys in the house?
If she wanted to.
Really? No kidding.
I was too shy, though. Didn't happen.
It never happened?
No.
You did not lose your virginity in Frank's house?
No, I did not.
Frank, did you ever ask her if she lost her virginity?
No.
You guys don't have any of those father-daughter talks?
Not really.
Is it a normal conversation to have with
your
father?
dad? Sure, my kids are constantly talking about their virginity with me.
Okay.
Oh no.
It really is uber cringe. There's no question. What Howard doesn't understand, what most of the world didn't understand, is that like even in the Zappa household, at one point they were nudists. Like the Frank would walk around with no clothes on sometimes. Yeah. And like in the early days, right? You never knew. Like if you walked into their bedroom, they could have clothes. They might not have clothes. I don't know that I could handle that growing up.
No, that would have sent me in a whole other direction. But it sounds like, again, when you have parents who are chaotic and absent or whatever, you often produce kids who are more stricter with the things that they do. They go to school, they set timetables and stuff for themselves, and they don't lose their virginity at 11 or 12. And if they do, it's a private matter just for themselves, because everything else about them is public.
Yes.
So they don't want that to be public. They want to have their own things that they're keeping to themselves. But this whole conversation is, even at this time, unacceptable.
Well, it's funny. Moon got married to a dude from Matchbox 20, the drummer and the backing vocalist, that guy Paul Doucette. That was his name, and she had a kid with him. And in the book, she talked about how domesticity and the kind of she said it was so jarring to see how he was treated by his parents, and how nice and how how good he was with the kid, and how structured he was, like in terms of what do you mean you don't have, what do you mean she's not allowed to stay up? We were allowed to stay up at all hours of the day. Who cares? This total chaotic household that she grew up with, it affected her so much later in life as a mother that she really had to struggle to become more ritualized, I suppose, and more normal. She said, look, I grew up in a complete clusterfuck of a household where the parents didn't really parent, and Gail would be domineering at points, and other times completely tuned out.
Wow.
Yeah, and not present. And then other times entirely too present. And Gail, as you said, both parents did this. They parenticized? They made the kid. They made Moon. She made Moon a contemporary instead of treating her like a mother-daughter situation.
Yeah, she's a mother before her time, and she's raising the other kids. That's a lot of responsibility for anybody.
Oh yeah.
Why do they still have it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable that they still have it in my house. But the point here is that I would imagine there was a very open relationship between the two of you. But I believe that Moon has a tremendous pressure on her to be wacky, to be sort of wild. Is that true?
Well, I think if there is pressure on her, it comes from the media, not from the family.
Well, I don't know about that, but actually Moon does strange things. What do you do, poetry readings and things like that?
Where are you getting this information?
Do you do poetry readings?
No, I do not.
Yes, you do.
No,
Let me
I
show the
don't.
tape. Frank, I'm going to play a tape right now of Moon doing a poetry reading.
What are you talking
because
about?
She has this pressure in her life to act wacky because she's your child.
What's wacky about a poetry reading by any stretch? Even when I was, even in my, I don't know, undergrad days where, you might find yourself at a poetry reading, but you may not do it yourself. It's still, it's not wacky. It's about as vanilla as toast.
Yeah, and again, at this time, it was common to have these pop-up poetry readings at different places. But again, Frank gives his answer. Howard says no.
Yep.
That's not your answer. And now he's going to prove that Frank gave the wrong answer.
Yeah, and then shoehorning a narrative that isn't there. That is, first of all, it's weird when it's not.
Yeah.
It would be weird for Howard because he, number one, doesn't know poetry. Second of all, would never go up on stage and read anything that he'd written.
We've seen when he did that live show and did his little poem there that it's not good even when he's reading it.
Nope.
What?
Tinseltown, Tinseltown.
Where did you get this?
I wear a frown in Tinseltown. La La Land, La La Land. My ex-boyfriend is in a band.
Well.
And I'm stuck here in La La Land.
What the hell? That is what happens to you when you are Frank Zappa's daughter. It is very difficult. Here's a poem that I wrote. I would like to read it for Frank because I consider Frank one of the premier musicians, of course, legendary in terms of the work that he's done. And now I will read poetry, if I may. May I stand up?
Sure.
I love how he says again. He alternates from how Frank was a great musician. When Frank died, he had Gail on the show and Beverly D'Angelo. I've got the audio somewhere, and he said I wasn't really a fan. I didn't really care or know much about his music, but I loved him as an interview, like as a guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with this was you can see where the forced nature of this interview is coming from, because he was setting this all the way up so that he could read his poem.
Yes, isn't that amazing? It's tailor-made. It's all about, pardon the expression, it's about look at the clothes I'm wearing, look at my face on camera, look at me looking at my face on camera and commenting on my clothing, and then having people, on the street taped interview questions, like, so I don't have to deal with them individually as people. I can't bring them in and talk to them and have a discourse. I have to have them on tape, and that's it, and I can turn it off when I want.
Yeah. And he wants to make himself seem like he's always being persecuted and challenged, and that people are mocking what he does. That's where part of the interview, people on the street comes from, so he can show how edgy he is and look at protest letters, and then force this whole interview just for this one moment where he gets to stand up and read this poem.
Right. It's all been engineered.
Frank, if I may, with your permission. Roses are red, violets are blue. I can't believe they have the Smothers Brothers and Robert Klein and Robin Leach on E with me. I think that's outrageous. How is that? Thank you. Little something I wrote.
Do you know how hard it is to get my dad to laugh, Howard?
Oh, your father laughs plenty at me. He calls me a buffoon, I believe.
You know what's really good on E?
Yeah.
Which I think is a revolutionary program?
Which is?
Talk Soup.
You like that?
Yeah, because if one were to collect just the little pieces of Talk Soup and put them in a time capsule,
yes,
you would have a fantastic version of what's really going on in the United States during this period of time. Just those little horrible snippets from the talk shows. It's unbelievable what they say about the society.
It's quite frightening, Frank. It actually is.
It is very frightening, and the host is unbelievable.
I thought, wasn't it Kinnear who did Talk Soup?
I can't even recall it at all, but now I'm interested.
Well,
now I'm invested.
It was exactly what he's talking about. When they ended it, the problem was I think it was a copyright issue, because getting the licensing from different shows to play on that show was problematic. In the same way that, like, SCTV, I keep bringing it up, but it didn't make it to DVD for the longest time because they had problems getting clearance for the music rights, because they had so many songs that they couldn't use. And then, like, they had that one cut, Stairways to Heaven, that one, the mock commercial where they have all these, Slim Whitman doing Stairway and Barry White doing Stairway, and Jimmy Page and the assholes at Zeppelin wouldn't let them air it, so they had to get rid of that completely. Wow. So you can see it on YouTube, but you won't be able to see it on like on their collections. And then they had another one where it wasn't even a recording; it was what's his name, Rick Moranis, playing with the Happy Wanderers, the John, when they did the polka stuff, and he was playing an acoustic version in Lutonian of Stairway to Heaven, and they had to change the music completely, and it made no sense.
So the fact that they stole the music is fine. Other people can't steal their stolen music.
Exactly, and if anybody doesn't want to know, it's that intro to that song by Taurus, that Page was accused of ripping off. And if you hear the chord progressions, there's no question he took that intro and should have been sued. So,
but Frank, I can't believe how good you sound. I of course am concerned for you, and I'm glad that you're feeling better.
Yeah, I'm feeling better.
And the thing is that you have to go for chemotherapy treatments and stuff like this.
No, I don't. I can't do chemo.
You can't?
No.
Why? It's because it doesn't work.
Doesn't do any good.
And by the way, you never took drugs or anything like that, right?
Now, I don't believe that's true. I believe what was happening with Frank, once he found out about it, he tried to do all this holistic bullshit, and believed that, it wasn't going to work, and he decided to opt against it until he finally had to. Like, he basically was told, look, if you want to live, you want to continue to compose, this is the only option you have left. And he ended up doing it, but it made him so weak, obviously. But, by that point, it would have done very little because he chose to wait.
Mm-hmm. And that makes sense given his approach to a lot of things. And
Yep.
he's not alone. There's a lot of people when first diagnosed will think, oh, if I only have more turmeric tea and eat mushrooms and do all
Right.
this kind of stuff. And you hear these horror stories from oncologists of having to treat these individuals who could have been more reasonably treated in the first place. Now it's just past the point.
Let me just find this clip. I'll just see if I can get it. Ice T. He talks about his drummer that passed away from leukemia. Beatmaster V. He died of leukemia, and he was told why. Let's see. It was an interview where he talked about he was pissed off that he wasn't given this guy. His drummer was basically told by people, death. Let's see. I think it's. Oh, there it is. Yep. I'll play it right here. One second.
And that was the first time people around you had ever seen you.
So this is there's a drummer. The original drummer, Body Count, was also on Ice-T's records. Can't remember his name, but he was super buff. Like he was really in great shape. This guy, Beatmaster V, and he died of leukemia. And this is what Ice-T it talks about when you talk about the holistic stuff and how he was pissed off at people at his funeral and stuff because it was unnecessary.
Able to show.
Well, Vic was in his 30s, man. And Vic was athletic. Spike will tell you. Spike was very athletic, and Vic was very athletic, in shape, looked like bodybuilders working out. And then I get a call. They say Vic got leukemia. Cancer is something you don't see. You don't see. You know somebody got shot. You know if you got a broken leg. But cancer, like, I don't see it. Where is it? And what kind of pissed me off about Vic's death was a lot of people were telling him, oh, go holistic and not do this and not do that. And I was telling him, dude, you got some money, check in where the rich people check in, go to a cancer center, and let's spend this money and get you back. People had brainwashed him into thinking that, there's people out there that'll tell you the hospital is out to hurt you, that it's a ripoff. There's people out there like that, Soren, full of shit. And Spike works in a hospital right now. Hospitals are trying to save your life, all right? So, but Vic went the wrong way. And I remember we were doing a show in Belgium. We had a sold-out concert, Body Count. And we had a doctor that was checking Vic's blood. And the guy came back and he said, he's technically dead. Like his blood count is so far off. So I canceled the show with a packed house. The press dug us out. They ripped us, called us all kinds of pussies and shit because we just said our drummer was sick. We didn't say cancer. Within a year of him being diagnosed, he passed away. Wow. And I was kind of mad I was not only hurt at the funeral, I was angry because I knew a lot of those people that told him not to take care of himself were in that room and they weren't laying in that coffin. And it was real tears. It was the homie, like so young, so vibrantly healthy, dead. And that was one of the first people I ever had die of natural causes. I was used to people in the game getting shot. This person got killed because that's the life they chose. You in the life, this comes with it. But for him, he wasn't doing nothing wrong.
Yeah. So, just an example of how sometimes people, they go the Steve Jobs route because they think whatever, like Robin, I'm certain that's what she did, or that's what I'm certain she thought something was wrong now in retrospect, and that she decided I'm just going to, make my body as vegan healthy and to go for the holistic bullshit and the coffee enemas because she knew, but she couldn't face up to doing real treatment because at that point she was very anti-Western doctors.
Yeah, very anti-Western. And when we think back to all the kind of cults of treatment that she was in, coffee, enemas, and all this kind of stuff, she obviously knew something was off or wrong with her body. Had she gone and actually been checked out, and she's not alone. Again, a lot of people resist that. She knew something was wrong, and then when it got to the real, in-your-face time, I think if Howard, and I'll give him credit for this, hadn't pushed her at that point, she still would have gone more holistic. And I think during her treatment and now, I think she's still doing things that could be interacting with or making her immunotherapy less effective and stuff like that. Again, people don't think about, like, when I take any herbal anything, I run it past my oncologist. I check with everything because it might suppress and make it either not work good or make it work too good, and it harms me even more.
Sure. Well, you have to keep an eye on everything. Like, what vitamins are you taking? Are you taking supplements that may be too much in conjunction with the nutrients you're getting in your food? Like, what's your diet like? These are all things you have to consider before you do any treatments, and you have to weigh that all out. It becomes like alchemy almost.
It does, and you learn a lot of things. Like for me, mine's a hormone-based cancer. And so I have to make sure that the supplements aren't replicating what estrogen would do in the body, because that can feed, and if there's any cancer left, it can feed it more. So all of a sudden you're like, wow, like this stuff is, you have to be really careful with it. But people walk in and just clean out supplement shelves and don't reflect on it even. Well, it's natural, it's good. Well,
it must be good.
It's natural. Arsenic is natural.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you were a smoker.
Yeah, still am.
Do you think you still smoke?
Yeah.
Now I admire that. Most people are hypocrites. They stop smoking if they get cancer. They say, am I correct, Frank?
Well, I don't know about people who have cancer. I don't hang out with them.
Right. I guess it's not a happy group.
Yeah, generally not.
But the point is that you still smoke.
Yeah.
You say to hell with it, I might as well.
Well, I do it because I like it.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. Frank,
completely hedonistic. It's all about the whatever joys they could get. Like for him it was making music, smoking, like watching political commentary or political, C-SPAN in those days, and then groupies. That was Frank's life.
Yeah. And he's honest about it, I guess, at the very least. And I've had two people in my life, one with lung cancer and one who had a skin cancer, both smokers, and they continued smoking all through treatment, and the lung cancer took that person out really quickly. The smoking didn't help with healing after chemo.
No kidding.
And then with the skin cancer, same thing, but they clung to this is my only joy I still have.
But so they just refused to take out that one element that might have actually given them more time.
Yeah, giving them more time, and I guess in their brain it was like, if you take this, I might as well be dead anyways. Like it was that big a part of their life.
I just wish you a lot of good health, and I really thank you for calling in, and I appreciate you taking this time out to be with us.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Frank, I'll see you.
Bye, Daddy.
All right, bye, Moon. Talk to you later.
All right, that's Frank Zappa. Now, when we come back, we'll talk about this loss of virginity, the pressure of being Frank Zappa's daughter. And we're going to get back to this job and about finding you work, okay? Right after these words. All right. Moon Zappa coming on to me during the commercial. 25 years old, and yet you find me attractive, don't you? Admit
it's
it.
true. I always have.
You always have. And I'm going to tell you something. If I
told you that from the get-go.
And let me tell you something. If I was single, I would be, if I could be so lucky, I would love to date you. And I noticed you shave your legs.
Wax, actually.
You wax. May I touch them?
Sure,
May I feel that?
Why not?
Excuse me. That feels nice.
No.
What could really happen on television?
No boundaries whatsoever. None.
And again, he's close to her. He's moving his hands into her space, and even then, this stuff was not good.
No, it wasn't. Absolutely not. I mean, look, didn't Andy Dick get thrown off of the Jimmy Kimmel show for touching Ivanka Trump's legs?
Oh,
knee?
Interesting.
Do you remember that?
No, but that I could see that happening on good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did this kind of pass by? Well, it was on E. If it was on NBC, it might have been slightly more controversial, but it was,
Given what you said about her upbringing, where there's all these people around her home and there's stars, and we know the stories of what these guys did to young females in houses.
Fuck yeah.
She right now is the perfect victim, because she would have been brought up where you don't say no, you allow people to do stuff like this, and let's keep daddy happy and the household happy.
Well, one of the guys from the original Mothers of Invention got done in for child stuff. Let me see if I got this right. Guys, just to let you know, Roy Estrada, one of the original Mothers of Invention, got done in for child sexual assault on a child. It was October 27th, 1977. He was convicted in Colorado, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety's public sex offender website. On December 9th, 1994, he was convicted in California of lewd and lascivious acts with a child under 14 and served 6 years in prison in Orange County. In January 2012, he pleaded guilty to a charge of continuous sexual abuse of a family female member younger than 14, which happened in March 2008. He wasn't like, he was one of the original Mothers, and that band disbanded in the early 70s, but he was in the house with Gail and Frank, living there at one point, like, between tours every once in a while. And that, think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these people don't operate in bubbles. Again, as we're seeing with the Epstein files, there's a lot of connections. And, I've mentioned it to you a few times that the more that's being released, the tighter the net is coming in on Howard. Favorite comedians, people he's connected to. Jackie was mentioned in,
Yes.
And it's like, how is Howard not being pulled into the conversation? And then we see stuff like this.
Well, Len talked about it in the latest episode we covered about the Epstein files regarding Stern, and there may be more to come. But if there are any misspellings of Howard's name or just the name Howard, like I've got to look at that when I go into those things, and different spellings and different names and stuff, different variants of the name, like Sten
Like
instead of Stern.
thing about
like
media.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see what else comes up, but it is amazing that he is tied into so many people. You want to read something fucked up? Let me do the Elliot Offen thing. Let me just go on to Cormano's thing, just real quick. He posted this, and I was shocked about it, actually, a little bit. I was randomly reading up about Elliot Offen, and holy shit, how did Gary and Howard approve this fucking guy to be a guest all of those years? He is genuinely a vile maniac and criminal who legitimately hurt and maimed people. And so it said there was I'm just going to read Cormano's write-up, and then we'll go. Karen provided the show with her birth certificate and driver's license. She said everything she said matches all the news articles about Elliot. She knew names, dates, and locations. She talked about being in the apartment in Florida with, quote, Nina. Elliot's girlfriend at the time was Randy Jacobs, which was a pseudonym all the news articles used. Elliot and his daughter moved into Randy's apartment. Randy and Elliot eventually got married. None of the articles I've seen mention Nina, and I have about 30 newspaper scans covering Elliot's escapades through the 1980s. If they ever do mention Elliot's partner, she's Randy. Randy's real name is Nina Moss. I was able to get this information through a 1987 county court record where Nina Moss filed for an annulment back in Florida. He kidnapped, Mary refers to her as Maria, which was the alias given to her by Elliot during the time he had her hostage, this Karen. And then he said, he writes down here, Elliot kidnapped his infant daughter and held her hostage for 7 years before she was able to escape during a routine traffic stop. She was brave enough to show up as a guest on the show to warn people. She tried. She really did. This woman was sexually abused and spent her childhood locked behind doors, unable to attend school like a normal child. She didn't even know her real name. Despite her pleas for the general public to stop giving this lunatic any money, it fell on deaf ears. Instead, the show gave him the opportunity to win $25,000 in a football pool.
So it goes deep.
Big time.
Yeah.
Elliot, not Elliot, Kenneth Keith Kallenbach was done. Like very dark shit. The Jesus twins, we talked about that earlier. All these, high pitch Eric, I mean, all these, the different levels of sleaze that associated with the show and the show normalized and kept around. I think there's a lot more there that we're not even gonna ever get. We'll find out when some of these people are all dead.
Yeah, and even with situations like Beetlejuice, having him be sexually manipulated and used and abused, that's not appropriate. He wasn't able to consent in a reasonable manner, yet they're putting it on the air and they're bragging about it. And it's like, no, that's sexual exploitation of this individual.
It's brutal, and I mean the exploitation that the Stern show did with in terms of like with the, I mean it is shocking. You'd have to go to these porn sites, but are you not the Are You Hot? It's Just Wrong. Those segments that they didn't get Stern in some serious trouble back in the day. I'm shocked. You can find these on porn sites because they involve nudity mostly, and I didn't quite understand the point of having them on a format where you had to hide that shit anyway.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Can't get any more dangerous than that,
I don't know. And you and now here's the deal. We're talking about your
How
lifestyle.
did that feel, by the way?
That felt great.
Good, okay.
I love it. Can you show some more leg for the people at home?
No.
You really cover everything up. You really.
Thank you, but
you
no.
really do. So you say you want to be an actress.
Yeah.
Here you are, Frank Zappa's kid. So you're famous because you're Frank Zappa's kid first, and then you have the hit song, and you get fame. And now you're in a weird position.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're addressing this.
Because you have to find something to do.
Exactly, it's a problem. People look at me, they think just because you're famous, you don't need a life, and it's actually harder for me to get a job than it would be for, say, somebody who's coming from the middle of nowhere.
But the point is, your father is a very rich man. You realize
that's
that?
true, but who wants to take money from your parents for the rest of your life? That's
Yes,
a
but it is
hideous
true. Now, I don't even
thought.
want to address something morbid like this, but if something happens to your father...
Let's not think about this.
But
Let's
let's
not
not
go
even
down
think
that
about... No,
avenue.
I'm not going down that avenue. But I'm saying in general.
Oh, see? Fucking hell. I mean, there's no question Frank's on the downward spiral, but you imagine your fucking kids there, and this is what this asshole is trying to put forth. Like, let's put all the negative, let's bring the worst possible thought that could come to your mind and talk about it on for fodder, which is, it's not entertaining.
No, like, let me rub your leg, and now let's talk about how when your dad kicks the bucket, you can use his money guilt-free or something, which again is Howard projecting his thoughts onto the person he's interviewing without hearing what they're saying, or again, read the room.
Yep.
She's saying no in the most forceful way she can, because she's not in a power position right now.
No.
But it's very clear she doesn't want to put that into the universe at all.
Yep. And the other thing is, Frank was not massively rich. He really wasn't. He was a working musician and paid, he wasn't even touring later in the year, those years, which is where they used to make quite a bit of money, because he was sick. 88 was the last tour, and even then it was cut short because of shitheads in the band ganging up on one of the band members. And then they had to, then he said, I was out 400,000 that tour because I had to cancel the dates. These guys wouldn't play with the bass player, and later on when I played these assholes in the band tapes of what the shows sounded like in the early shows, and they all go, oh man, he sounds good, he said I wanted to break their necks because he had to pay everybody, the musicians, the concert halls, the promoters, everything, just to so when we talked about J-Lo and these residencies back early in the day, or not residencies, she's doing Vegas, but when she was touring for that, trying to tour for that stupid movie, and she wasn't selling tickets, she took a bath on that concert, on the tour.
Oh, massively. Even when it's well received and tickets sell, they're still not getting a lot of money. It's merchandise and then after sales for online streaming or purchases or whatever.
Yep.
But even in the good old days, people weren't making a lot of money off of tours. It's very expensive. And the contracts that these early musicians signed, they weren't for their benefit. It was for the record studios or their manager, typically, who were making the money.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say your father wasn't sick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in general.
Okay.
Is there a trust fund set up for you so that you would be taken care of the rest of your life?
No, there isn't. I still have to earn a living like everybody
Are you sure?
else. No, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Tell me what you do all day. Tell me the typical day. Like a week
typical
ago
day.
on Monday, what do? You wake up?
I wake up if I don't have appointments, then I'm
Now, what
usually
kind of
doing,
appointments?
like auditions.
Auditions. You're going out on a lot of auditions. You had a CBS sitcom, but you feel things went wrong with that.
I know they did. The show's not on the air.
Things definitely went wrong with that show. It's not on the air. And you proved yourself to be a good actor. In fact, you got positive reviews. Your brother wasn't happy with his reviews. He did not get positive reviews.
Well,
But you got good reviews, didn't you?
I guess I did.
You better brag. I mean, this is it. This is a chance to get work. And you go on these auditions, and what do they tell you? Do you see anything promising happening?
The first thing that people usually say to me is, so acting, is that what you want to do? Like, no, I just have all the time in the world to just take random meetings with people.
Right.
So let's get that pretty clear. If I'm in the audition, I'm there to do a job.
Right.
If they'll hire me.
And you listen, with that kind of attitude, young lady, no one. You've got an attitude about you.
You're right, I should vent that
You better
to a
grovel
pillow.
a little bit.
Excuse me, I think I'm ready to do some groveling. I think I've done some groveling.
All right, you will grovel. And the thing is, what kind of...
I don't know how. Teach me.
What do you want to be? How to grovel?
Yeah.
Where I got to where I am. Oh, please.
Yeah, well, when he was in Les Moonvest's office crying like a bitch, I think he probably did a master class of groveling. That visual is still too much. I love that.
Can I have my TV show, please? Can I have it? Can I have a TV show, please? That's how I did it. You don't have a face like this to get on TV without groveling. So you grovel and you meet these people, and you went on auditions for what? What were some of the auditions you got rejected from? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Was that one of them?
They wouldn't even see me.
They wouldn't see you. Why?
I don't know. I'm just making that up.
But who did you audition for? Oliver Stone? Did you Spielberg?
Usually I can't even get in the door to see
You cannot
those
get in the
people.
door.
Can you believe that?
That is unbelievable. Well, let's hope your father has set aside some funds to take care of you, Moon. Is that correct?
I don't want his money. I
Well,
want
you're
my
going to
own
have
money.
to. Listen, you want your own money. You think it's easy to make your own money?
I'm finding out that
It
it's
is
difficult.
very difficult.
Exactly.
I want to thank Moon for coming in here. Moon is here because she's ready to act and take on a serious acting position. And she's going to grovel when she comes to see you. And now she's willing to do bikini shoots. So I don't think there's any problem. I want to thank Moon. I want to thank her father, Frank Zappa, of course.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you next time on the Howard Stern interview.
Thanks, Howard.
Now, okay, she's going to write it off like she's going to try to be a good sport about the whole thing. But let me read the rest of the Kindle from the book. Howard mentions he's always found me adorable and, quote, very sexual, and suggests I should show off more of my body, wear bathing suits, miniskirts, and a, quote, bippy top, whatever the fuck that is, to show off my stomach. It's probably some cute lingo that him and, like, Pillow Talk, Ralph talked about when they were, you know.
Well, he's meaning baby doll tops, I guess. They were called that in the 90s, the shorter tops.
Bippy top?
I've never heard it called a bippy top. They were called baby doll tops.
Guys, you guys in the comments section, do you do the research? If you heard of this expression, because that was the first and last time I've ever heard of this expression. Then he asked me if I've made enough money to never have to work again. I say I wish. He says he doesn't see me doing a lot of things and that I don't have a regular job. He razzes me pretty hard on this point, then tells me anyone who is watching to hire me that I'm a very qualified dropout, that there should be zero problems having me as an employee, wink, wink. Then my dad calls into the show and things get weirder. Howard gets my father to agree it would be nice if my siblings and I would stop leeching off him, stop taking money from him, and get jobs. My father says there's got to be an end to it sometime, Howard. This all feels doubly hurtful given my loyalty and sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
And make no mistake, those kids, what they had to go through in that household, I'm telling you, read that book, Earth to Moon, guys, and if you didn't like Zappa before, you'll probably hate his guts afterwards. And Gail Zappa.
Yeah. And for everything it sounds like she went through, I still haven't read it, and I do need to. She's reasonably well adjusted. She wants to work. She's very articulate, quick-witted, obviously very intelligent. So she's done good coming out of that mess to be the person she is. I mean, we've seen so many Nepo babies who don't even want to lift a pinky without daddy's money paying for them to do it. So the fact that she's like, no, I want to be my own person and do my own things. And she's, it sounds like, out doing auditions without Frank phoning and saying, like, you have to hire her, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
And if he would have done that, I'm sure she would have gotten into a lot more shows. But it doesn't sound like she played that card when she went in, and good for her.
Not from what I read, and even then, like, it was a matter of just, it's funny, trying to get independence from the Zappa family was always, predicated on, this push-pull relationship that she had with her mother when she'd go back and see the family and or spend time and just, visit, and seeing how dysfunctional it was after being outside for a while, like living on her own and stuff. She said that added so much more perspective to how I was raised. But again, it wasn't until she got married that she realized, oh my God, this isn't normal. It isn't normal to, let your kids eat whatever they want. It isn't normal to have, artists come to the house and Dickie Boo the place up and then, make this the bohemian. When Howard said bohemian, he didn't quite understand how true he was. He was using it as a throwaway word, but that describes how they were raised in that household.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how she came out of it and is as reasonable as she is now. That's incredible.
Yeah. And if you want, guys, there's a Washington Post article about the three of the siblings. Dweezil doesn't talk to, he's still on the outs with his brother because there was contentious for a while there. And when Frank died, this is the one thing I'll let people go away with. He told Gail on his deathbed, basically, sell the publishing, sell it, move, get out of here, live somewhere peaceful, get out of the business completely. She did, but then she used the money to she donated $500,000 to the Democratic convention. She was friends with Tipper Gore of all fucking people. Honestly, and then she decided she wanted to buy back the catalog and take charge of it, sued cover bands for doing Zappa music without permission that were doing tribute stuff to him, whatever, even if they were ex-members of the Mothers of Invention, or ex-mothers from different tours of the Zappa years, and spent loads of money, most of the kids' money, pissed it all away, and they were $5 million in debt when she died.
I feel so bad for them. What a mess.
It is an absolute mess, guys. And again, it makes for fascinating but depressing reading. However, insight in terms of how you can compare it to just other celeb families and stuff, you won't see anywhere else laid bare like that. Maybe Paris Hilton at one point will read, if she hasn't already, written a book about how dysfunctional her fucking family is, and it would explain her life a little more. I would love to see stuff like that. At any rate, my dear, any dedication you can think of for this one? Things you'd like people to hear or something related to the episode?
I don't know if they'd like to hear it, but I think Valley Girl would be the obvious choice out of this. It brought back memories of the 90s. And if that's not appropriate, just seeing that picture of Ralph with Howard and Ralph with the long hair made me think of the Headstones Tweeter and the Monkey Man. Even though the song lyrics don't fit with it, it just, in that moment, my brain went, it's Tweeter and the Monkey Man instead.
Okay, well, I'll throw that, whichever we prefer, and then I'll throw, let's say, because of Howard's predilection for showing his outfits, ZZ Top Sharp Dressed Man. I think he'll go for it. Yeah. Thank you so much, my dear. And any shout outs to anybody?
No, just a basic one again to the family as well. Thank you guys for all the support, and I really enjoy this. And it's good that we're staying together and we're slugging through all this mess.
Absolutely,
as a strong unit. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and everybody, take care. We'll love you, and we love you, and see you in the next one. Have a good one.
Take care.
Pasta asciutta. I don't say pasta asciutta, I say pasticcio. Pasta, that's what I say.
He's a phony Italian, Paul.
Who's Italian? Yeah. Why you Napolitano? I'm Napolitano. Sure. You don't understand Sicilia. Altovilla. No, Altovilla. Era mano mangiata. Sì, ma ti ha mangiata tu. Mano mangiata, ragazza. È stupata risata che vado.